We're good.
Welcome everyone, and happy August. We're here close to the kids going back to college, 3 weeks of school. Hopefully everybody's having a wonderful summer, enjoying themselves. And Christmas is right around the corner. 4 months till Christmas. Oh, sweating it out on that. Here we go. Adequate notice of the meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with Section 13 of the Open Publics Meeting Act. Said notices was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, the Ledger on December 11th, 2022. Madam Clerk, may we have the inspiration and the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. May we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Here.
Mr. Konecki?
Here.
Ms. McDuff? Here. Mr. Powers?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here. We're going to go right to, we're going to skip special proclamation recognitions and presentations on 5. We're going to move to public participation. 5-minute limitation. If there's anyone else, please come up, state your name and your address for the record, please. Right up here, sir. Yes. Right to the middle. Not unless you're a hurdler.
I got other copies of this, but
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
sorry to get you guys involved in more of a national issue, but you guys have some involvement.
No worries. Just state your name and your address,
Oh,
sir,
sorry.
for the record.
Lawrence, 6 Pembroke Court, Lawrence. That's it. The Lawrence Town Council, arguably the worst decision by a president in my lifetime, is the one that has been ongoing since January 2021, to let millions of migrants enter our country illegally at our southern border in Texas. It is hard to understand why this country is allowing it. My thoughts are that the same Democratic Party that has vehemently opposed voter suppression in the form of the GOP requiring signature verification on ballots cast has no problem bringing in all of these future U.S. citizens and voters to make sure all future elections are won by one party, the Democrats. As soon as Donald Trump announced that he was building a wall to keep these migrants out of the country back in 2015, 2016, most Democratic-controlled cities, towns, counties, and states started a virtue signaling campaign to announce that they were all to become sanctuary localities to welcome illegal, undocumented aliens into their communities. One of these localities was our own Lawrence Township, based on a decision by our 5-member town council, all Democrats. What have we learned since Biden started allowing all of these migrants trespassing? Number one, Texas, bearing the brunt of this avalanche of people, decided to bus some of them to Democratic-controlled sanctuary locations such as New York, Chicago, Florida, Massachusetts, Martha's Vineyard, etc. All of the politicians who run these sanctuary localities have decried the major problems that have occurred from all of these migrants. None of them can cope with them. The liberal capital of the U.S., Martha's Vineyard, home of Barack and Michelle Obama, couldn't handle the influx of migrants bused from Florida for more than 2 full days, calling out the National Guard to remove them. Eric Adams, liberal Democratic mayor of New York City, has decried that the influx is unmanageable and has sent the migrants to hotels in New York City and a standalone island. I believe it's Randall's Island. The U.S., which cannot even handle the millions of homeless in this country prior to the influx of migrants, has no infrastructure available to provide the billions of dollars needed for housing, clothing, food, schools, etc., for these illegal border crossers. It seems as if some of the migrants have teamed up with the Mexican cartels, which is allowing deadly drugs such as fentanyl to enter our border during this crisis. In past years, it has been estimated that over 100,000 US citizens have died from fentanyl. Now we have the next unimaginable step in the crisis, which just happened this week. The Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts, and I've attached an article from a writer from the Boston Herald, has implored citizens of Massachusetts with a spare room or rooms to house these migrants in their private homes because the state of Massachusetts has nowhere to put them. How soon will the migrants migrate to New Jersey with our uber liberal Governor Murphy and numerous sanctuary cities such as Lawrence holding out the open hand, welcoming them to come? How soon will residents of New Jersey be asked to open up their homes to these migrants? Because unlike New York City, New Jersey does not have a Randall's Island to ship them off to. How soon does citizens in New Jersey and Lawrence experience a deep dive in quality of life and home values? At this time, I am asking the Lawrence Township Council to make a decision to reverse the sanctuary city approval it made several years ago. A vote to keep the status quo will be a vote against Lawrence citizens and a vote for the Democratic political machine that controls it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marks. You were just right on. I'll tell you what, you must have a timer on you. Perfect, we appreciate it. Is there, you can come up.
Me?
No, the gentleman behind you. Just come up, state your name and your address and for the record. Thank you so much, sir.
My name is Joseph Fasinella from 16 Winnipeg Lane. I've been a resident of Lawrence Township for 55 years. And in that time, I have served my community as an assistant Little League coach, as an assistant hammock soccer coach,
Thank you.
and for 10 years as scoutmaster for Troop 27, Lawrenceville Presbyterian Church. During that period of time, we had 9 Eagle Scouts. I'm here tonight because I'm coming right to the head to find out answers instead of going roundabout. The past several weeks, I have received information from very close friends in regards to the state of affairs of the Lawrence Township Fire Department. This is disturbing news because the men and women who serve in the fire department are majority volunteers, given of their own time and free of charge to the township and the taxpayers. Some of the information that has come my way has to do with facilities and also with equipment. That the firemen do not have up-to-date fire equipment. They're using equipment which is outdated by law. Also, that 4 of our fire trucks are inoperable with no intention of being fixed or replaced.
Sir,
That is extremely disturbing to me because
what station are we looking at? What are you talking about? What is it?
I'm talking
21,
about 3
22?
fire companies that make up Lawrence Township Fire Department.
Okay, you said there was inoperable. I'm not quite sure because we have 3 firehouses.
Right now, this has to do with total. That There's
Okay.
4. There's 1 truck, okay, for example, at Lawrence Road.
I know there's 2 down by St. Anne's
The reason why it's disturbing is because one of the main factors as a taxpayer in this township is that I have to have insurance. And my fire insurance, the most important part of how they're gonna rate my insurance is based upon what they call rateable equipment that the township possesses. I don't know if it's still true or not, but I was told that a pumper, an engine, has a 15-year lifestyle, and a ladder truck has 20. But if we have 4 pieces of equipment that are not operable, what is that going to cost me and everybody in this township in regards to our farm insurance? It can only go one way, and that's up. And to me, that's extremely disturbing. As disturbing as that is, to put the men and women in harm's way and not give them the proper equipment, I think is a crime. It was brought to my attention that an agency of the U.S. Department of Labor called Township is in the process of assessing fines against Lawrence Township and the fire department in excess of thousands of dollars a day. As a taxpayer, as a veteran, an 80-year-old citizen in this community, okay, I do not want to see taxpayer money spent foolishly on fines instead of paying for the equipment that is needed. I would like some kind of a response from this council, not tonight, but something that I can sit down and read with, and I can explain to my friends and neighbors as to the state of affairs of the fire department in our community. I want to say thank you for giving me the time and the opportunity to address this matter with you, and I have full confidence, okay, that this can be resolved.
I thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your
Thank you.
service. Thank you for coming. And do you know me by any chance? Have you ever met me?
No, I don't think so.
Because it's funny, because I got a call today about the same thing. So I just want to clarify, this is not set
It
up.
wasn't me.
That there
Could've
was
been one
two,
of my friends.
and it's written here to find out. There was two, I've never met Mr. Joe in my life on that, but there was 2 fire trucks.
My association with this council goes back many years. The mayor at the time took in and married us, my wife and I, okay, in this very same room, but I'm going back almost 45 years.
What you can do is have the
Pardon me?
Mr. Nowinski look into our manager and check with our OEM
And full disclosure, I went to school with Joe's.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
I say hi to Joe.
You didn't teach him baseball, did you? I've seen him throw.
Okay, is that it? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment. if you don't-
Yes, if you don't mind.
Mr. Fasenello, I want to make sure you hear me. I will meet with you anytime. You call my office, you have wrong information, and people have told you things that you are informed incorrectly about. And so I will spend as much time as possible, because you're here and you're making a public statement and you're involved and you care about this community. I will spend as much time as necessary to give you the factual information involved. Somebody gave you some bad information to make you come up here, and I feel bad about that. There are 4 out of the 5 apparatus that is not accurate. There is no pending POSHA that has not been satisfied at all. So we've got a lot to talk about, and I'm happy to spend the time to do it so you can take it back to whoever gave you that information, because public safety is our #1 priority of this governing body and myself. And we have spent so much time rebuilding the fire department, making it unified with the volunteers and the career to make sure that we meet the standards that are set and expected by the community. We've done so much over the last 3 or 4 years. I want to share it all with you so you have that information. So if somebody comes up to you and says something, you could say, you know what, that doesn't sound right to me. And so the talking that goes on in the community about factually incorrect stuff, let's nip it in the bud. And I appreciate you coming up
Great.
here, and I'll be happy to meet with you. Please call my office tomorrow.
I appreciate you taking the
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Mr. Nowinski, if you don't mind, could you also share that information with the council also about the equipment, the fire trucks being down and stuff like, because I did get a call. I never met Mr. Joe, and I honestly, I got
The fire apparatus goes down all the time.
no, I understand, and we have,
Like all the time. And-
I'm just asking the question.
No,
It's
I
a
know.
yes or
So-
no. Just tell me yes or no.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
You
that's
ask
it.
for the information, I will absolutely get it for you.
That's all I asked for. I didn't
Okay,
ask for, any kind of attitude, nothing. I asked for the information if you could forward to everyone on council. Thank you. Let's move on. Is there any other, public participation, 5-minute limitation out there? Whoever wants to come up and state your name and, your address, please, for the record. Thank you.
My name is Charles Gray. I live at 284 Federal Point Boulevard. And I apologize as I begin because I'm not a public speaker at all. All I am is a city planner. I got my degree at the University of Texas in Austin 40 years ago. But I practiced city planning all through that time. In my jobs in Mississippi before we moved up here 3 years ago to be near our grandchildren that live just 2 miles away. So I'm excited to be here. I want to be able to participate in the community.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir. But I want to be able to have a safe community where I live. You can hear my voice. I'm just real not good at this, okay? But let me continue. I'm concerned about the lack of a traffic light where the traffic comes out of Federal, onto Federal City,
Mhm.
where y'all are familiar where that is.
Yes, sir.
On the east side where I live, are not only 140 homes, but there are also offices that have healthcare, childcare, and just general offices in the area. Those properties over there probably generate about, I'd say 1,200 entrances on the Federal City every day. If you consider that each person actuates that intersection twice. The 320 units that are being built on the west side, if you multiply each residence there by 2, because there are probably 2 breadwinners there, and then you multiply that by twice a day, you're looking at about 1,300 entrances on the Federal City at that point. Federal City through there at the last average daily traffic count that I saw, which was about 4 or 5 years ago, had about 6,500 vehicles per day on it. We're going to easily be putting in on both sides 2,500 vehicles per day into that intersection. If you add to that, in fact, part of that 6,500 includes about 4,000 that are heading up to the interstate. And then there's another 3,500 coming down Federal City from the interstate. My concern, more than anything else, is we've got a lot of older people. We're old, okay? I'm 74. There's some older than I. And our reaction time is not as great. You're going to have distracted parents bringing their kids, trying to get them to school over Stony Brook or wherever they take them to school over there. You've got the child care center where people are coming out. There are only really 2 ways to make that intersection safe, as I see it. Since they've chosen to have the intersection directly across, either allow no left turns, which is, politically just something that people wouldn't stand for. I don't think you'd have people abusing that, or have a demand actuated light there. Now, I know a demand actuated light is expensive, but when I came over here today, I saw one right down here on Long Road. I know there's a country club at one end and there are 100 homes down on the other end. There's a lot less traffic probably coming into that intersection that has the type of construction that we need to have. If you consider the fact that there are 2,300 vehicles a day coming into Federal City from both the east and the west, and you multiply that by the 260 days a year that people normally go to work or go to school or whatever, you're talking about 600,000 accesses to Federal City in a given year. If you assume that half of those are trying to make a left turn, that's 300,000. It's not hard to believe that there's not going to be at least one person killed every year trying to make it into there. Now, I know we're not a big tax base like some of these other folks that when I rode around and looked at, but we, with our homes and with property that's up there, just on our side, I imagine we generate about $1 million, 900,000 to $1 million a year. I appreciate y'all listening to me. I just want to bring this. I know a traffic light's expensive, but so is a loss of life for the family. And before it happens, I think we need to, if it's already been examined, it needs to be re-examined and looked at with some of the facts that I present. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming in. Appreciate your input. Sir, mind coming up and stating your name and your address for the record? Thank you.
Well, respected Mayor and respected council members, my name is Jack Backru. I live in 235 Federal Point Boulevard. The gentleman previous to me spoke pretty extensively, so I'm going to make my speech a bit short. It's very simple. I am a professional licensed engineer, and I have been practicing engineering for the last 40 years in various townships, being a town engineer, and retired as a chief engineer for the city of Baltimore. I pretty much know, I think, a lot of civil engineering. I've dealt with $1 billion capital improvement plans personally, selling bonds for the city. And I can tell you, the city of Baltimore, I improved extensively last 5 years by digitizing all water meters. And I did we were replacing 10 miles of water mains every year during my time. So we are pretty much building up the city of Baltimore, really attracting people coming to Baltimore City because of the better infrastructure. Now, that's a short introduction about me. The problem with where I live, and the previous gentleman said, you can never make a left turn from my place. And I can quote you the traffic AASHTO. AASHTO stands for American Association of Safety Transporting Officials. I think our municipal manager is hearing that. I hope he's hearing that. So what happens is when we make a left turn, you need 330 feet and 330 feet distance for a 30 miles per hour speed when the cars come like that from our left turn, okay? And the other problem, the other issue is we are not young, we're aging. So the AASHTO gives you a certain average sight distance time. But as you go older, that doesn't work. I've had a bad incident myself, making a left turn. Of course, I had to make it quick. It's not easy. God forbid, if any of us have an accident, please put in a record, because I am worried of this situation. And I guess that's what I'm going to tell. That's my speech here. I am very particular about safety. I believe in zero safety, like the municipal manager just said. Safety should be zero. Zero safety. There should not be any problem in safety. It's called zero safety. That's what we practice in engineering. Zero safety. That's my speech here. I hope I made myself very clear.
Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I ask a question?
No, thank you so much.
Sir, can you just repeat the name of the organization that you got the reactionary?
AASHTO, AA, let me,
A.
I'll give it to you. That's a
American Association, I live in AASHTO, American Association Safety Transportation Highway Officials.
Thank you.
And these are very relative. They don't go accurate. And there's a federal thing called International Transportation Organization, the local, there are state transportation, all
Okay.
overlapping.
Okay.
Generally, when the federal gives a regulation, I'm just saying, the state takes as a primacy if they want it, but they can't even make it stringent.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Yes, ma'am. Please come up and state your name and your address for the record. Thank you.
I'm kind of short for this microphone, okay.
That's all right.
I really don't have something written down, but I
Your
really
name,
just
ma'am?
want to tell you.
Your name and your address, please.
My name is Barbara Dauber, Dauber. And I live at 81 Traditions Way at Federal Point. My feeling is this, I've lived here for 20 years. That's when 20 years, maybe even today, that I closed on the house. But for those 20 years, I've had hope that one day there would be a light put on up at Bull Run. Because it's very, very difficult to make a left, as you all know, if you've ever tried to make a left from Bull Run between 4 and 6 o'clock in the evening. You can't. But for these 20 years, nothing has been done. I know it belongs to 3 different townships, but you get together and work on it, you know? Now we have this other problem, which is across the street, with 300 apartments being built with rentals, as I understand. I hope I'm correct on that. And I know that they'll have cars, 2 cars probably each, 600 cars coming out of there. Now, at this point, with the construction trucks coming out every day, it's very difficult to make a left. So I have to figure out how I'm going to make a left by going right and turning around somewhere where I can then get back on Federal City Road to go where I'm going in that direction. So my plea is to all of you to think about all of us who live there. We need to get out of our development. Making a right takes a little long, but making a left is almost difficult. And that road was built maybe 80 years ago, and it was built as a country road. It was never built for all this traffic, ever. So I'm from this area, so I know Federal City Road. And that is my wish. Please somehow get a light there, at least at Bull Run and Federal City Road. All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Dauber. You're not related to John, are you?
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
Are you related to John Dauber?
I am related to John Dauber.
Okay, you tell him I said hi, please.
You're John Ryan.
Yes.
Yes, I'm actually his mother.
Oh,
Who's my
you did well, I'll tell you that.
I did
Nice-
well, yes.
nice
I'm
job.
very proud of him. Thank you.
Yes.
I hope I spoke as well as he does.
Yes.
I
Thank you,
should
Ms.
have brought him
Dauber.
with me.
You did better.
Thank you.
She got an F.
Yeah. No, he was a good principal, don't worry.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Charlie,
Please state your name and your address. Thank you for the record.
My name is Barbara Levine. I live at 262 Federal Point Boulevard in Lawrenceville. I've lived in the Federal Point community for 20 years. The traffic on Federal City Road, when you turn to the left or to the right, the traffic coming out of Bull Run Road, when you have to make a left turn onto Federal City Road, and the traffic coming down Federal City Road to make a left turn into Federal Point Boulevard is becoming increasingly worse. The entrance to the Woodmont development or the new Woodmont development that is being built is directly across from the entrance to Federal Point, which is homes and offices, has been previously mentioned. The residents of Federal Point are over 55. Most are much older than that, and as has been mentioned previously, the reaction time for making the left turn becomes increasingly higher as people age. I've also noticed that the intersection of West Lawn Drive, the traffic light was placed before the venue development was even completed. It would be helpful if at least there was some progress on placing a light at Bull Run Road. And just as a point for the record, quite often when I come home from Pennsylvania, where I participate in an activity late in the afternoon, rather than even chance coming up Bull Run Road, I will go down Route 31 and come the long way. I shouldn't have to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man, for coming in. Would you be related to Charlie by any chance?
Yes, I am. I'm his wife and he's sitting right behind me.
You're funny. All in the family.
Thank you so much for coming, and please be careful going home. Is there anyone else for public participation? Seeing none, hearing none, we're going to close public participation. Madam Clerk, for the record, you put on there that I'm requesting for the firehouses from Mr. Nowinski, please.
Yeah.
That the email, that we get the update on that, and myself, for the rest of council also.
Okay.
Good.
I think
I'm sorry,
Charlie
what
wants
was
to
that?
speak.
What was that point? I didn't hear what you just said.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm requesting that it be put on record that I requested an update on the
Yeah,
firehouses.
Mayor, I think we got off to the wrong foot on this one.
No, it's
No,
fine.
I just want to explain that the apparatus, it's a very fluid situation from day to day, week to week, and month to month. Like, sometimes there's nothing wrong with them, sometimes there's a lot of things wrong. It's very fluid, so when you're asking me for something, is it just the snapshot in time from today? What's relevant, or, because we do have public safety committee meetings where we all get together, I think you're a member of it, and we discuss these issues, and there's reports by the fire department. I don't know if Mr. Fasenelli is still here or not, that where all these
No, he
issues
left.
are discussed. I'll talk to him about it, because they're public meetings, the public can actually attend. And so these issues on apparatus, those things, they're all a part of it. So I just want to make, I did not mean to come off adversarial to you.
No, I got
It was
thick
just
skin.
like, it's a fluid situation, and I want to make sure what your request is, because if it's a snapshot in time as to what it is as of today, I think I can get that information. But if you want to go back, and I can pull records over the course of the last year of the different apparatus that go in and out, because the public works mechanic works on them. We have a contract that works on
We
them.
do,
More
if they
than
send it out, correct?
$100,000. So, yeah. I mean,
They
so
do the
there's-
small, and then anything major that gets sent out. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I had
there's
a
just like
call,
a
honest
lot-
to goodness, I had a call today down the 22 that their fire trucks have been down for a couple months.
Yeah, and
So just, that's
no,
all.
this is really important for the public to hear too, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Is that,
absolutely.
that there are times when the mechanic makes requests for repair items to go inside. They're on back order. I think it's all because of the pandemic, and things get delayed, but the firemen are all up to date. They are provided with the status of the requests and all that. So that information is out there to make sure that all the firemen are aware. We talk to the officials from each fire. Jack Oakley keeps them informed as to the status, and sometimes it does take.
I never met Mr. Joe, honest to goodness, so this was not set up, honest to goodness.
I would never think it was a setup at all.
So it was just funny that he came up, and then I got a call today from it. So it's good. And we are accepting new applications, correct, for the volunteer fire company? Is there a backlog in that by any
Well,
chance?
so, interesting that you say that, because I just saw a Facebook comment.
I don't go on
Oh,
Facebook,
you
so,
don't know.
but I got the phone call today
Somebody
about
made a
that.
statement that there was a directive not from me to stop volunteers from joining. And I don't know if that's accurate or not, because that
I don't know.
didn't come from me, but you have to outfit volunteers. They have to go through training, and then you also have to make sure they have all the right equipment. And so we are up to date in terms of we got a whole bunch of new volunteers that came on board. So Jack Oakley made the request, and it took a couple months to fill the request to make sure that they have the right equipment. And if Jack did say something like, let's hold off because we don't have enough equipment for the new guys, that may have happened, but I'm just not aware of that.
I am not either. I don't go on Facebook, so only
Yeah,
if it's,
so-
only if it's your birthday. Then you'll get a happy birthday, enjoy your day. Mr. Charlie, I had closed this, but I will allow this for 5 minutes, sir. If you don't mind, public, all right? I'll open it up again if council allows it.
Yep, fine with me.
Thank you.
And I'm related to the.
You are? Oh, you know the young lady?
Yes, we sure do.
You better.
In the 20 years that we've lived here, traffic problems have multiplied greatly, development has increased. An office complex was built on Federal City Road and Federal Point Boulevard, now houses a daycare center. If you've ever seen it, the cars leaving at the end of the day at 4 o'clock, man, they really patch out. The parents are in a hurry to get out of there. Capital Health now has an admissions testing center. There's a call center for Capital Health in that complex, along with doctor's offices. And now a 320 apartment complex is being built directly across the opposite entrance to Federal Point Boulevard, 320 units. Figures were mentioned before, I'm not going to go into that. We can't imagine the traffic problems coming to this road. I'm now in my fifth term, on the Lawrence Township Zoning Board. So I have seen something about development, zoning. I've seen how you negotiate with developers to get accommodations such as traffic lights, and it's all part of the deal and part of the package. It's the traffic, the problem that we have right now, and I'm going to emphasize it again, maybe sometimes in education, repetition is advisable. The traffic coming on Federal City Road from Ewing and those exiting off of 95 have caused backups where we can count sitting at our development waiting for 30 cars to pass. That never happened before. I think the traffic is coming from Ewing, maybe from PCNJ, I don't know, but that is a steady stream of traffic. When you have to make a turn, and I do it almost every day, a turn from Bull Run Road, make a left-hand turn on the Federal City Road. You look to the left, and there's utility poles all the way up. You can't see the traffic. You look to the right, there's a little hill, and the road sort of curves. And you have to take your car and go out as far as you can go to see the traffic coming from the right. And then you got to get at that point. And as one of my neighbors mentioned, who knows this stuff backwards and forwards, and I know he does, and he mentioned to you, the time frame is so quick. Well, I'm damn afraid that I'm going to get T-boned, or somebody's going to get T-boned coming out of that intersection and trying to make that turn. There's no visibility. There's a limited visibility coming out of our own development, Federal Point Boulevard, plus all these office buildings, to make a left-hand turn onto Federal City Road to go towards Ewing. And then if you have to go to the right to get on 95, well, that doesn't take quite as bad. And if you're coming down from 95 and you want to make a left-hand turn into your own development, into your own home, you have to sit there and wait for 20, 30, 35 cars to go past before you can make a left-hand turn. In other words, the whole problem is visibility, and it's something that we shouldn't have to deal with, we shouldn't have to put up with. I was at the Hopewell Township Planning Board meetings And I saw that planning board a few years ago. I think the board is different today. But I saw that board advocate their responsibility to get a light as part of the application from the developer. And people from our own community were there, and I was there twice, and I was rather appalled watching the operation and watching this big, heavy-handed, high-paid attorney from the developer. That organization that owns that, developing that apartment house, they're putting in a whole slew around New Jersey. They've got very big bucks. So the Hopewell Township Planning Board has advocated, it could have solved this problem. It could have been taken care of. It should have been taken care of. The traffic light should have gone in a year or two ago, and it would have been done. I thank you very much.
You can wrap it up. I mean.
Yeah, no, I thank you very much. The other people have made the comment. It is safety. Somebody's going to get T-boned. It's just plain old common sense. And it shouldn't have taken this long, and it shouldn't be this hard to get these type of problems resolved. And I understand, and I also, I'm sorry, Mayor, Lawrence, Hopewell Township is getting a lot of tax revenues from that building. Ewing Township is getting tax revenues from the sewage line for Elsa that's going to come through Ewing and head out. So they're getting some money. And I understand that Lawrence Township is getting zero. But we have the problem, we have the residents, we have the buildings, we have the infrastructure there, and our infrastructure needs to be serviced.
Thank you, sir.
Very much.
I appreciate, we see you and we hear you, and we appreciate your input. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else for public participation? No? All right, now we're gonna close it. Seeing none or hearing none, we're gonna close it and move on. We're gonna switch glasses. Nothing I can do. We're gonna go review and revision of the agenda done. 8A, please, motion for 8A.
Mayor, I'll move the closed session meeting, July 18, 2023.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes, thank you. Can I get a motion for 9A, please, if you don't mind?
Mayor, move 9A, number 237, authorizing the contract for the rehabilitation of 33 Quince Court.
Second. This is a part of our affordable housing rehabilitation program, and the contract was sent out to bid, and this is the lowest responsible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mayor, Mr. Nowinski, will use our affordable housing fund for this?
That's correct.
Thank you, Mayor.
Is there any public participation for this? See none, hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 9B, please?
Mayor, move number 238, authorizing the contract for the rehabilitation of 76 Gordon Avenue.
Second. Same thing. This is part of the affordable housing program rehabilitation, and this is the lowest responsible bidder for this particular job.
Any public participation for this? Seeing none, hearing none, we're going to move. Madam Clerk, may we get a vote?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 9C, please?
Mayor, move number 239, authorizing and awarding a bid for Colonial Lake Trail improvements.
Second.
This is advancing the work that we're doing at Colonial Lake Park. And as you know, we rejected a bid previously. We rebid this, and after the engineer has considered certain cost factors that were higher than first estimated. He believes this is an appropriate amount and the bid should be awarded.
Very good. Is there any public participation for this? Seeing none or hearing none, Madam Clerk, can we get a vote,
Oh,
please?
Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry.
obviously it's not affordable housing, but what's the breakdown in terms of open space?
It's a portion of our capital account, 85,000 in open space funding, 46,780.
Very good. Is there any public participation for that? Seeing none, we're going to close that, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Bobbit?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes, I'm sorry. Number 10, introduction of ordinances, none. Adoption of ordinance. May I get a motion for 11A, please?
Mayor, move 11A ordinance number 2455-23, ordinance authorizing the private sale of certain lands in the Township of Lawrence, County of Mercer, not needed for public use, Alcazar Avenue, block 2306, lot 10.01.
Second. As you know, from time to time, there are lots that are, that we own that are not taxed as part of our tax base. And we identified lands that we have no use for and we offer them for sale. And more often than not, it's an adjoining property owner that acquires the lots.
Is there any public participation for that? Okay, very good. Seeing none, hearing none, we're going to close that. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbit?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Can I get a motion for 11B, please?
Mayor, move 11B ordinance number 2456-23, and ordinance amending ordinance number 2446-23, salary ordinance of the Township of Lawrence, unclassified and/or exempt seasonal emergency non-union.
Second. These are amendments to our salary ordinance that are both housekeeping items, planning for the future, and adding new titles within our operations.
Is there any public participation in this? Seeing none, I have a question, Mr. Norwood. Who is our affordable housing liaison?
I am. It's the same thing, Affordable Housing Director.
And also with the fire department liaison?
I don't know the fee, where are you looking at, Mayor?
We are 11B. On that, it would be the third page in, right under the affordable housing liaison. Fire department liaison, hourly 25. I'm just curious. That's all.
Pete, do you know the answer to that?
That was when we had the capital improvement money to do work at the firehouses, and you wanted the input from the firehouses to one individual to then come to the township to, so you don't have, 20 people all coming, you have one person coming.
I'm glad you came tonight. I had no idea. So we're all enlightened.
Do you know who it is, Pete?
It was
Ron
Ron
Desminski.
Desminski.
Okay, that answers your question.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can we get a vote? Did you second?
Yeah, he
Yes,
did.
I did. Yes, you did. Mr. Bobbit?
Yes.
Mr. Kaneki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. Now we're on the manager's report, please.
I have nothing to report.
Very good. Attorney's report, please. Mr. Roscoe.
I'm going to save my comments to closed session, Mayor.
Very good. Madam Clerk, is there anything to report?
Just two things.
How's the summer going?
Summer's going,
Good.
it's going too fast.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, so the annual league conference is coming up, and they always do the early bird, little special here. So it's gonna be November 14th through the 16th. If any of you want to register early, just please let me know so I can let you back know, okay? Also, our summer schedule is going to be over our 6 o'clock. So next meeting, we will start at 6:30.
Oh.
And
6:30?
I'm like, everyone knows, 6:30.
6:30, thank you. I would have been here a little earlier.
Yes, it's only for June.
Mr. Mayor,
July, and
I'm
August.
thankful that the clerk has announced the.
Yes. We're going to deck of cards with us. All right.
Okay.
Unfinished business, seeing none, we're gonna move on. New business, D, on that.
Oh, Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Larson sent an email about the American Revolution resolution, so maybe we could get the manager that. and update
Yes.
on it.
Yeah, I had sent something out to you guys a couple months ago. As you know, the America 250 is being celebrated, 250 years. And Mr. Larson and his group wanted the council to consider adopting a resolution in support of the 250-year celebration. As you know, 206 is a pretty significant piece to our colonial history. And I have sent it off to you again today, a proposed resolution that if you guys find acceptable, we can put it on for the next meeting. And then the other thing Mr. Larson wanted was us to further consider making the space in front of the municipal building a park area. He stopped me today when I was walking my dog and asked me to mention it. On record.
Good old Paul. That's not good. The only thing I have to add on that is, I received an email I forwarded to Mr. Nowinski, from Assemblywoman Verlina Reynolds Jackson. And she's doing the same thing as she did last year. And Mr. Nowinski agreed, to help out. What she does is collect funds and they do a bike ride through all the towns. And they do come through Lawrence. And she's wondering, how we can support it, like, blocking off the lights, which we do. Whether you want to put, it's up to council, it's up to Mr. Nowinski. Any ideas, whether you want to do a bike patrol or motorcycles to lead them, it's all up to you.
Yeah, Mayor, you did reach out to me and I immediately reached out to the chief of police to see if he would make contact so when they're coming through Lawrence on 206 towards Trenton, that our police department is involved so we can further develop that idea of celebrating it.
Yes, her chief of staff hasn't gotten back to me yet, and I'll forward it as soon as the date and the time, they'll find out exactly.
Chief's on board with
when they're coming
whatever we need
through, so we can support the Assemblywoman, because she always definitely supports us on that. So think if there's any ideas on council, or if you want to relay it to Mr. Nowinski, that'd be wonderful. We're gonna move on. We're gonna go to public participation, 3 minutes. Are you doing a 3-minute one, huh?
I am doing the 3 minutes.
You got the discount one.
Well, I think I misread the agenda, that's why I have to.
Please state your name and your address, please.
Sure. Sylvia Copus, 1547 Ohio Avenue. I noticed there is an item on the agenda for releasing the funds for the reevaluation or rewriting of the master plan. But my comment is that when I was present, not at the last planning board meeting, but the one before last, the planner, the township planner mentioned that I had sent an email to all of the council members about that. That there is an item in the revision to hold us off to the new master plan about public participation and the meetings for the public regarding the master plan. So she proposed fewer resources for the public participation, awareness in the rewriting of the master plan, and also different meetings for different parts of the town. So I would really be appreciative if you township council members did not agree to different meetings for different parts of the town. We have one zip code, we're one township, and I think that people who want to get there, they will get there. And her motivation was it would be easier for people to get to those meetings. Then the next question is, where are those meetings going to be held? Are we going to have IDs checked with the address, whether we're at the right meeting? So that's my comment about the revision document. I haven't seen the document itself, so I can't tell if it's written in there. I know the council is supposed to be voting on that, so at some point, if there is a mention of different meetings for different parts of town, I would appreciate if you could strike that. So thank you for your time and have a good night. I hope your summer is going well.
Thank you, you also, and thank you for taking the 1099 plan instead of the 5-minute plan. Is there anyone else for public participation? Seeing none, we're going to close public participation. We're going to move on. Can I get a motion for 18A, please?
Mayor, if there's no objection, I'll move 18B1 through H6 in a block.
Second.
Madam Clerk, I'm sorry.
Mr. Babbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. McDuff?
Yes.
Mr. Powers?
Yes.
Mayor Ryan?
Yes. We're going to go to council initiatives and liaison reports.
Mayor, Mr. Larson mentioned the American
Mhm.
Revolution in 250 years.
Pretty cool.
Well, guess what? The Brearley House is 260 years old. So at Historic Preservation, we had a presentation by Clark Payton Law Firm, or Beth McMahon is the planner. Because in order for us to get state grants, we have to do an assessment of the structure. And you can imagine over 260 years, there's a little bit of repair work. So you want the good news or the bad news first?
Well, I'm 67. I know there's a repair work on this body.
The bad news is 2.5 million to make it perfect, but there's things that can be done just on the short term, which would be about $463,000. So
Can you put a price tag on that, though?
you can't put it, and
On history.
that's right now. So with
For me,
inflation.
that's
and everything.
personally me. I love history. I'm a history buff, so can you put a price tag on history? But that's,
I think they do it at auctions all the time.
So but that's bubbling up, and hopefully we'll get some grant money for that.
thank you. Thank you so much. Grant money is always good. Is there anyone else for initiatives liaison reports from council? We're all good? Written communications, none. I'd like to thank, and the council, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Just please be careful. We're going to go into executive session, if you don't mind, but thank you for coming tonight and having your input. And don't forget, 6:30 on September 19th, 2023.
Motion to adjourn?
Move to
Oh, motion to
adjourn
adjourn.
and go into closed session.
Second.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.